Today I ducked up by staring at a client during a couple's massage. My client was female, and I'm a registered massage therapist, RMT. Often during treatments, especially when using Swedish techniques, I tend to visually zone out. I find it easier to focus on what I'm doing with my eyes closed to just staring into space. Just work by feel, you know? Today, another registered massage therapist and myself were booked for a couple's massage. My client was female, and my co-worker had her male partner. Now, today I'm more tired than usual. It was a very gusty night, and the wind howling kept waking me up. So as I'm working in the warm, quiet, and dimly lit room, anytime I close my eyes, I can feel my body wanting to doze off. In these types of situations, a couple co-workers and myself will start doing facial exercises to try and keep ourselves awake without disturbing the client or taking away from their experience. Think like super wide eyes, clenching and unclenching jaw, furrowing and unfurrowing brows, puffing up cheeks and sucking them in, etc. It's weird. And it looks weird, but it does help, and usually no one knows unless there's another registered massage therapist in the room. So, I'm making these weird faces to try and keep myself awake and on task. And the appointment is going as normal. The other registered massage therapist has their client turn, puts their eye mask on. I have my client turn over and give them an eye mask, and then I continue my face exercises. At some point, I'm away in my head somewhere while working away and not paying attention to what I'm actually staring at while continuing to make these stupid, dumb faces. When suddenly I zone back in and notice my co-worker's client staring back at me with a very disturbed expression. My co-worker had removed their eye mask because it kept sliding off, and I hadn't noticed. I had been seemingly intently staring at this poor guy, making bizarre faces for at least several minutes at this point. He didn't say anything, so I swiftly broke eye contact and tried to avoid looking his way again for the rest of the session. I basically ran from the room after the appointment ended, just feeling mortified by this. And if that client happens to stumble upon this, I'm sorry for making it weird. Thanks for not complaining about my weird staring. Too long didn't read. Today, I effed up by zoning out and absent-mindedly staring at a client during a couple's massage while doing facial exercises to stay awake. Update. They rebooked. Just letting you all know, looks like it went over as best as it could have. After that appointment, I had quickly let my boss know what had happened before I had to jump into my next appointment. She, like many of you, enjoyed a good laugh at my expense. The couple hung out in our lounge and sauna for some time after. And at some point then, as I was informed at the end of my day, my boss checked in on them to see how they enjoyed the amenities and service. They seemed to be enjoying everything and didn't mention anything about my weird faces at that point, so she didn't bring it up. When they went to pay, they left generous tips for my coworker and myself. A few hours later, the guy called back and asked to rebook, specifically asking for the girl with the funny focused face to work on him this time. Apparently, his girlfriend told him it was a really good massage, so he wants to give me a go next round. Funny faces and all. They'll be back in a couple of weeks. So, I suppose while I felt like I'd royally ducked up in the moment, it sort of worked out in the end. Disciple of Deceit replied, "In the future, you should consider just being honest with the client. They probably just laugh at how weird the masseuse is and have a funny story instead of being disturbed." King of Uranus replied, "LOL, definitely. Not explaining at all, just made it so much worse, LOL. Now that client is going to be freaked out driving home like, honey, while the masseuse was massaging you, I swear to God, he was staring right into my soul, making scary demonic expressions for several minutes straight. I didn't know what to do. I think he's an alien body snatcher. We should assemble a mob right away and come back with some torches." SoCal Cobra replied, "As a retired sports therapist, I see your issue and can confirm that it is not easy to transfer out so much energy when you're exhausted. Transparency with your clients is always a winner. Good luck and get some therapy yourself. You deserve it. Select Edition 7188 replied, "Yeah, it's definitely a my bad moment. Unfortunately, I had froze up in the moment and couldn't think of what should have been the obvious choice to explain myself. Going forward, should something like this ever happen again, although hopefully not, I'll know better then." Proper Application 69 replied, "I have ADHD and find myself locked into staring off randomly quite frequently. However, it's just my eyes. I can stay aware of my surroundings if I want for the most part. One time my manager introduced me to a peer of his, a woman. He chatted with her first as I stood there and then introduced me. She quickly turned towards me, but my eyes had locked in position and it took me an ADHD fraction of a second to break off. As I looked up at her, her expression changed from happy to, 'Are you ducking serious?' At first I didn't understand, but then I realized that my eyes had been locked on her enormous things. She thought I was staring at them, but I wasn't. I had no idea what my eyes were pointed at. But when she turned to me, that's where my eyes were, and it takes effort to unlock them, which probably looked like I couldn't peel them off her jobs."
If you enjoy our channel, we'd love to invite you to become a member. Joining is easy. Just click the join button on our channel homepage or beneath any of our videos. Your support means the world to us, and as a member, you'll gain access to exclusive perks and content. Thank you for being part of our community. We look forward to welcoming you as a member soon.
Anomaly 33 replied, "I was in a science fair back in middle school. My teacher was a younger woman, but I had absolutely no attraction to her. I quite disliked her, actually. So I'm at this dinner for participants that were getting awards. Teacher is sitting across from me. I'm bored as hell and zoned out completely. I was in my head daydreaming with no awareness of where I was actually looking. I snapped out of it just as she was adjusting her bra strap, and I had apparently been staring at her chest for at least a minute straight when she caught me. She leaned over and whispered something to her husband, and I just looked somewhere else to continue spacing out." Dan of all trades 80 replied, "I was trying to fish a wire through an outside wall at a customer's house one day. I drilled through the wall and was trying to feel around for the other side of the hole in the wall cavity with the wire. I was just staring off down the street, concentrating, when a guy started yelling at me, asking if I had a problem. Turns out my concentrating face looks a lot like an angry scowl, and I was staring exactly where he was standing without even seeing him.